Hello, I'm Alec and I work here at in8, and everything that we do is about improving well-being. We do it by using in8 skills to enrich life. Now, I don't know if you work with people one-to-one, or maybe there's someone in your family who you want to help, or perhaps your interest is more in doing group work. But if you are interested in helping other people to live well, to improve their well-being, then we have a resource pack called in8 cards, which you may be interested in, and that's what I'm going to talk about in this short video. We live in a very stressful world. There are all sorts of reasons why people get stressed. Sometimes it's obvious why, sometimes we can do something about it, sometimes it seems more difficult, but occasionally we don't even know why we feel stressed. We might sense that there's maybe something missing. And wouldn't it be great to have a way to regain that sense of well-being, that sense that everything makes sense? Wouldn't it be great if there was an easy way to figure out what we need to concentrate on, where we need to place our attention in order to work out what needs to change? So the in8 cards is a resource that addresses that issue, and it's been described as a really great way to get people talking about what really matters. It's used currently by a wide range of people. There are therapists, there are teachers, doctors, social workers, facilitators, trainers, carers, life coaches, all sorts of individuals working in a wide range of different environments, both personally, home and at work. What is in8 cards? Well, it's a box, it's a resource pack. This is what it looks like. What's inside the box? Well, it's a book. An 80-page book with descriptions of how to use the cards, and also descriptions of what each card means. And it's a set of two sorts of cards. So you'll see here that we've got orange top cards and blue top cards. The orange cards relate to those in8 capabilities and resources that each human being is born with, what they come into the world with. Now, the degree to which each of these resources is working well for people depends on their history, their education, their life experiences, a whole range of things. But just to take the first one as an example, rational thinking. Everyone has a rational mind to some degree. And so these really are the kind of things that we feel that everyone has the opportunity to use. It's just that we don't always use them all in balance, and sometimes we get focused on using the wrong one to solve the problem. The blue cards are those things that are out there in our environment. So they're the things that we need to get into our life. They're forms of nutrition, if you like. And the idea is that when we are using our in8 skills and resources to get our in8 needs met, the blue cards are the motivations or the needs, then we are living life well and can fully thrive. Now, you'll see that each card has a number, a title and an illustration. The number is not particularly significant, except that it helps you to look up the right page in the book or the right section in the book to find out more about that particular card. The illustration is interesting because it's sort of deliberately ambiguous, and it lets people start to think about what that concept means to them from their point of view, from their life experiences. When you look up the section in the book, you'll find there's a list of associated ideas. There's a description of what that card is about. There's a short section on focus, and there's a short example of how somebody has used this in their life to improve things. It's really great to see that aha moment when somebody looks at a card, reflects on it, and then realizes that it gives them an insight into what to focus on to improve their life. How do people use these cards? Well, lots of different ways. I'll give you some examples to get things started, but you'd find more out if you came on one of our workshops, which I'll talk about briefly later. So if you're working one-to-one with someone, as a guide, you're guiding them through the process. You might offer them the cards and ask them to sort them into two piles. The first pile would be needs that aren't really an issue. They're well met. You know, maybe they're getting good diet and maybe they're getting some exercise, and those really aren't an issue to the person. But in the other pile, they would sort the ones that maybe need more attention. So If someone hasn't got enough privacy, for instance, that might be a way of focusing on whether that need is met in balance in their life. Once you've identified the needs that are not so well met, then you can go through the orange cards, the resource cards, the capability cards, and maybe that will give you some insights into ways of solving the problem of getting that need for privacy met better. So it might be something that you need to envisage with imagination, or it might be something you need to plan with intellect. So there's lots of different ways of doing it. If you're working in a group format, you might hand out a card to each person in the group and ask them to comment on how that concept might relate to the issue that's being discussed in the group. And it might be a well-being issue, or it might be any kind of issue that the group have come together to discuss, because what we find is that when a group gets their needs met in balance, the group works better. If you were working for yourself, or you weren't particularly interested in helping other people, but you thought you wanted to use them in your own life, you might take a card, stick it on the fridge, as a reminder over a few days of the particular need or the resource that you want to focus on that week. There's loads of different ways, and in our workshops we're constantly surprised by the creative ways that people choose to use the cards, because they have that kind of open-endedness. And there's something about the physicality of having the cards in your hand, being able to move them out on a tabletop or spread them out on the floor, stack them, make piles, or just take one. There's something about that physicality that really gets people thinking in a different way than if you simply talk to them about the concepts. So that was the box set that I showed you. That's the main product. That was the first one that we did. But over the period of time we've been making these, we've been asked to provide other things. So we've been asked to provide A4 cards. So we've got these rather gorgeous large format A4 cards that are used in classrooms and also with group work. We do a range of posters. You can see one behind me. Here's an A3 poster that we also do, which is good for sticking up on the wall of either a counselling room or a therapy room, or maybe in a classroom. We provide a PowerPoint version of the cards, which is hopefully on screen as I talk. And as I said before, we do a range of workshops, low-cost workshops. They're good fun. And we also do bespoke workshops. So if your organisation is interested in using this approach, we're very happy to tailor what we do to come into an organisation and work with you. When you get a need met, you always feel better. It's an intensely practical way of improving well-being. And if you want to find out more, please look at our website or contact us. We're very happy to talk to you. And thanks for watching this video.